Hello and welcome to Just Hoops. The Miami Heat and New York Knicks are facing off in the second round of the NBA playoffs. These two franchises have a historic rivalry going back to the 90s where they're built upon toughness, grit, and just going at it with high intensity, and I think that this year's matchup will live up to that hype. So here are some numbers before we dive into the film. The Knicks have had the best defense so far in the playoffs with a 101.9 defensive rating, holding the Cavs to 51% effective field goal percentage, 43% from the field, and 94 points per game. To go to the Miami side of things, they've been clicking offensively with a 119 offensive rating, shooting 60.5 effective field goal percentage, 62.7 true shooting, and 45% from beyond the arc. These two teams have been clicking of late. They've been great so far in the playoffs, and this matchup will be definitely a fun one. So let's dive into the film and break it down a little bit. The Knicks offense has not been great, but the way that they were able to score against the Cavs was in transition. They were able to turn their defense into offense consistently, whether it meant getting a rebound, pushing it, off of a turnover, getting down the floor, off of a rebound, outlet pass, go. They were able to create advantages and score in those first 6 to 7 seconds multiple times in a game, and it allowed them to get on runs, build those big leads, and put the Cavs in the rearview mirror. I think that this will be a major part of what they're trying to do moving forward throughout the rest of the playoffs. Due to their half-court offense kind of being in the mud, Julius Randle's health being in question, but overall they got the guys that can do it, get out and run, push it themselves, and make these plays in the break for themselves and their teammates. The way that they were able to do it against the Cavs was highly impressive and definitely a major reason why they were able to win that first round series in 5 games. The other thing that provided the Knicks a lot of success offensively was their ability to crash the offensive glass and get second chance points. They had a 40% offensive rebound percentage in the first round, and they were able to take this part of the offensive end and take pride in it. Everyone crashed, everyone was physical, everyone was trying to carve out space when they had the opportunity to. Mitchell Robinson was incredible on the offensive boards, carving out space, being highly physical, getting down in there, getting the ball, whether it was a tip in or grabbing it and finishing it. He did a tremendous job, but everyone across the board was committed to the offensive glass, getting second chance opportunities, and then capitalizing on them, whether it was in the lane or kicking it out for a three. They did a great job across the board at capitalizing and making these opportunities happen. So to talk more about the half court and the way that the Knicks have been attacking in the playoffs so far, it's been trying to play off of penetration. They have the guys that can attack off the bounce, get in the lane, pass it out, and make plays from the inside. But overall, they did a really good job with their spacing. Here against the Cavs, in this clip, you can see it's 4 around 1. Everybody's in a good spot, high and wide, allowing driving angles, allowing each other to play off of each other. Randle gets the first drive. He kicks it out to Josh Hart. Josh Hart attacks a second time behind the drive. Randle fills behind. He kicks it out to Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart finds his way to the perimeter and gives Brunson the room to make a play happen. Throughout all of these clips, though, you can see that they do a tremendous job after the initial actions in getting into their space, allowing everyone the opportunity to have an attacking angle, to touch paint multiple times, or off of a paint touch, they have great spacing for a shooter to have a wide open look. Having the ability and trust to flow into this type of spacing, play off of each other, and have freedom in the half court is going to be major in their success moving forward, but also the way that they're disciplined in their spacing, their ability to read each other, play off of each other is definitely going to hurt Miami in terms of the pressure that they apply. You saw it against the Cavs. They were able to get into that spacing whenever they were applying pressure through blitzes or sending a gap guy at Jalen Brunson. It just was easy to flow. Everyone knew where they had to be, and it turned into great shot opportunities against high-pressure defenses. The Knicks might not have shot it that great in the first round, but the way that they're able to play out of paint, have great spacing, it'll definitely turn into good offensive looks consistently. The last thing offensively I want to talk about for the New York Knicks is the elite play of Jalen Brunson so far in these playoffs. He has had the ability to turn murky, inconsistent, low-efficient offense into success for the Knicks because he's been able to go out there, be the floor general, create great shot opportunities for himself and his teammates, but overall his skill level and just understanding and IQ for the game of basketball has been more than evident through the first 5 games of the playoffs. Statistically, he has averaged 24 points per game on 53.2% true shooting, shooting 95.5 from the foul line, gathering 4.2 rebounds per game, dishing out 4.8 assists per game, and then also collecting 2.2 steals per game, showing his defensive effort and energy also. But as an offensive talent, you already know he's a great finisher in the paint with a great float game. Also tremendous in the second level, getting to his mid-range, and in the first round he also showed an ability to knock it down from beyond the arc, off of pick and roll, off the bounce, and also off the catch. A complete offensive threat. So now to talk a little bit more about the best defense in the NBA playoffs so far. They've been highly connected, highly physical. They've made everything difficult at the offensive end of the floor for their opponents. And just the connectivity overall and the way that they're flying around and playing for each other is definitely impressive to watch. But to dive into more of the shell look that they have, you can see that they really prioritize loading the box. In this clip here, they did a great job at blowing up some action, making it a little stagnant, being physical. But as the possession progresses, you can see that the defense finds their way to the box. The cue for them are the 4 corners. They like loading it up regardless of where they are. Yes, they started applying more pressure later in the series against the Cavs to denying Donovan Mitchell and denying Darius Garland, but overall, they like loading up. Here against the Cavs in Game 5, you can see that they're loading that box early off the ball screen. Jalen Brunson's there to stop and plug against the roll. They rotate up and do a really good job there. And then here in Game 4, you can see that on this initial drive, Mitchell is the primary helper. He comes in, he gets a drop from Obi Toppin behind him. Brunson zones up the top side. He gets out and contests the 3. They protect the paint first. They take pride in guarding the paint. At the point of attack, they're going to apply pressure, be highly physical at the point. But overall, how this defense operates is that they're paint first. You're not going to get anything easy at the rim. We're going to make it as difficult as possible for you to get down here and get quality looks. They do a good job overall helping with the big and helping with size. Mitchell and Hartenstein are their primary helpers when it comes to their defense. They do a good job at off-ball, loading with the low man, no easy paint, gang rebounding. The gaps are high denial. They try to blow up action as much as possible, push it out, stagnate offense. And then as we dive into more of them, on paint, they're going to deny passes out. The less help that they have to send, the better. They like just sending that big guy and then denying everything else, making it difficult for a pass out, and then also a shot at the rim. They do a tremendous job at being hard to get paint against because of how they load the box in the gaps and in the help side. But overall, the connectivity, the way that they fly around, the way that they've pressured every level defensively has been really fun to watch, and I think that their recipe for success comes at this end of the floor with their ability to guard 1 through 5, have great help side on the interior, the way that they're connected and loading the paint, getting out to shooters, making it difficult for the offense to get good looks time and time again is definitely going to be hard for any team to get good looks against in the playoffs. Now to go and talk about Miami, and specifically first their offensive attack. Everything for them in the half court is pick and roll based. So a lot of what we're going to talk about is their pick and roll game. First things first, they have their 3 flat look where they have 3 guys flat along the baseline. Guys move a lot. Here we're going to talk about specifically their baseline movement. You'll see Caleb Martin is going to flood to the strong side, giving Bam the opportunity to roll and have space to do whatever he wants, but then Kyle snakes it. But 3 flat is typically their primary look, especially in side drag ball screens. That 3 flat look also can turn into a 2 wide and then a lift behind the ball screen. Just simple offense, simple ball screen attack. And they also have a 3 wide, 3-man space look where it's 2-man action happening on the strong side of the floor, then 3 guys are wide, whether it means 2 shooters and a porch or 3 guys on the perimeter. It's just simple, effective ball screen offense for the ball handler and the roller to get downhill, get paint, and play out of it. It's also a great way that they've been going to Kevin Love for him in pick and pop opportunities, but the same thing applies. There's a lot of baseline activity in these empty sides, and in their half-court offense, they have the ability to flow into both. As you see in this clip, it was an initial 2-man side attack into an empty side ball screen, just simple offensive flow. But at the end of the day, Spo's a genius. He knows how to put his guys in spots to be successful. Here you got Gabe Vincent coming up with the ball screen. Bam's rolling short, And then he's able to play off that short roll, get a great shot. Shooters are on the strong side, and then Jimmy Butler is placed on the weak side of the floor to flow into two-man action if necessary, but Bam makes a play. And they also have guys that you can put in a variety of spots. Switch up the ball handler, switch up the screener, switch up the spot of the floor where their screen is coming. They win it from their bunch set into a Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo inverted ball screen to attack Brook Lopez, put him in a weird predicament, and then it turned into a layup for Jimmy Butler. Just the creativity that Spo presents on a nightly basis is definitely a huge reason why their ball screen offense is so effective. Miami would not be in the spot that they are in right now without the brilliance of Jimmy Butler at both ends of the floor, but specifically offensively, he's averaged 37.6 points per game, shooting 59.7 from the field, 44.4 from 3, 67 true shooting percentage, while gathering 6 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists per game, and 1.8 steals. He has been a tremendous player throughout the entirety of these playoffs so far, the way he is dominating both ends of the floor. Defensively, he's guarding everyone. Throughout the first round of the playoffs, he had times where he went from a possession against Drew Holiday to Brook Lopez to Chris Middleton to Giannis. He was able to guard everyone. Then offensively, 3-level scoring, being able to score in a variety of ways on and off the ball, being in the post, playing off the pick and roll as a ball handler, as a screener, playing in transition. And then on top of that, he is shooting a career high from 3 in the playoffs so far this postseason. And just his complete game at both ends of the floor has put Miami in a spot to be successful. And he's been a catalyst for their high-level success offensively in the playoffs. The Miami Heat are built on defense, though. They have been a top 10 defense in the playoffs so far, but let's look at the film a little bit, see what they do that makes them so good and consistent at this end of the floor. These next 2 clips, we should get a good look at their shell. They're a very 1v1 based defense where you are responsible for activating and guarding your yard, but behind you, they're going to load the lane. Everyone's going to be in the passing lane, but around the lane line to make passes out more difficult and challenging. Only help when necessary from the low man. Here against Giannis here, Bam is matched up 1v1, but you can see everyone's kind of high in their gap, making that passing lane difficult, and no one helps because Bam does a great job individually. They get out and contest the 3. Just overall, this defense is built very specifically on playing your yard, being great individually. That is why they're so switchy. They're one of the more fluid defenses in basketball. They switch essentially 1 through 5. They did get a little bit more selective with the Bucks where they wanted Bam to be on size. They didn't want Kevin Love to get switched out to the perimeter, and they wanted Kyle and Gabe Vincent not to get mismatched too often. So overall, they got a little selective, and they have the ability to, but they are built upon being switchy, being physical, always staying connected to the point of attack. They're a heavy switch defense overall. They stay home off the ball. They get high in the gaps, deny, they pressure on and off the ball. The help comes from the low man. They do the help drop and zone behind. They're a very fluid defense with their switchability. Just overall, the way that they fly around, they're connected, they communicate all the time. They have a ton of variety also in how they play this end of the floor, whether they switch or not. They do a ton of different things in ball screen coverage, and they also have their zone that has given a ton of teams fits throughout the last couple of seasons. This defense is high pressure, high intensity, and I love what they do on a nightly basis to screw offenses and make it challenging to get good looks. But this last clip here, I really love. It shows their fluidity first with them rotating early in transition, Bam getting matched up with Drew Holiday, doing a great job there. Gabe Vincent's in the gap, making that passing lane difficult. He guards his yard, low man helps. They don't get the rebound, but look at how they crash Giannis, not allowing him to get a good shot opportunity. They kick it out. Everybody's flying around, rotating, contesting the shot, and then everybody crashes again to finish the possession. The Miami Heat and New York Knicks are poised to have a tremendous, fun, and exciting battle in the second round of the playoffs. Both teams have been playing great of late and probably are 2 of the most dominant teams in the playoffs so far, so it would be really fun to watch what they do. But here are some keys to the series. The glass is going to be huge. Specifically for Miami, they need to keep the Knicks off the glass and allowing them to get second chance opportunities, so the team that wins the boards will probably win a given game. And next, both teams are going to have their hands full with trying to slow down Jalen Brunson and Jimmy Butler. These guys have been the catalysts offensively for their given teams, so the way that you're able to slow them down, stagnate them a little bit, can definitely go a long way to winning this series. And lastly, shot selection and quality will be massive. Miami is coming into the second round hot with one of the best offenses in the playoffs. The Knicks are a little murky at this end of the floor so far in the playoffs. So the team that's able to accumulate more paint touches, paint points, and free throws will definitely have an upper hand in this series. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something about the Miami Heat and New York Knicks before they battle in the second round. For more content like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you in the next one.